So not too long ago, I got involved in a relationship with a very beautiful woman, a woman that I instantly fell for and built an absolutely incredible connection with. Me and this girl bonded so well. I started feeling like I was so in love with this woman. This woman was so awesome in so many ways and started filling a place in my mind of the kind of relationship that I wanted to have in the future, to be a husband and to build a family with a woman at whatever stage I end up deciding to do that. This was the very first time I was in a relationship where my eyes truly opened to the possibility of building a long-term relationship with a woman. The relationship got so intense that within just a few months of dating, I was already starting to think about marriage with this woman and whether or not it would be a possibility. Thankfully, at that time, I decided to hold myself back because, like always, I'm always reading books, educating myself, and I started picking up some books on making sure that you are picking the right person for your life, especially when it comes to a long-term relationship such as a marriage. And inside of that book, I read some really cool stuff about how the brain pair bonds with other adults and how we form long-term connections with people that we love. One of the things that I found very interesting was this book was talking about how the brain releases certain chemicals, one of them being oxytocin, during this time of falling in love and pair bonding with someone that causes you to feel an incredible connection with them. And over the period of time, this impulse that your brain is going through, releasing all these chemicals, eventually slows down. It slows down because at this point, we should have already made a pair bonding commitment with someone else. This is also why when you try to leave a relationship with someone that your brain has pair bonded with, it is emotionally difficult and it can feel like hell on earth because your brain is no longer producing these feel-good chemicals and it is withdrawing, kind of like a drug. Eventually, with time, I realized that I should not make any impulsive decisions and I should wait and I should make sure that I am looking at reality objectively, even though reality is not always the prettiest thing to look at. I needed to look at it correctly to make sure I was going to make the right decision for myself. You should wait at least 1 to 2 years before making an engagement to someone, before proposing marriage, because this gives you enough time for your brain to finish its crazy chemical love bonding process with someone and gives you time to come back to earth where you're out of that honeymoon stage and you can look at the relationship from an objective point of view so you can look at the reality of it. Well, thank God I didn't make any rational decisions because before I knew it, shit hit the fan. I'm a very social and loving person, so I like to have a lot of friends. I like to get along with a lot of people. And as time kept going forward, a few months into this dating relationship that I had with this woman, things started to go sour. I decided to stick out this relationship. A few months later down the road, I come to realize that I've pretty much lost all of my friends. I wasn't really talking to anybody, and I honestly practically felt depressed. I felt like I wasn't happy at all. I wasn't motivated to accomplish my goals. I was suffering on the inside. It got so bad to the point where one day, and I'm just being totally honest with you guys, there was an antidepressant pill laying around and I decided to take it one day just to see if I was actually depressed or not, because that's how bad I felt. I was literally at the bottom of the world when normally I'm up here, I'm at the top. I mean, there's nights that I literally can't fall asleep because I'm just excited for the next day to come. That's how excited I get for life. And the fact that I was willing to take that pill literally just meant to me that I was not in a good place and I need to fix some stuff about my life. For a while, I thought it was me. I thought it was my issue. I thought I was doing something wrong. After taking a lot of time for self-analysis and to study myself, I came to realize that it was mainly this relationship that was making me suffer on the inside. And here's where this gets interesting, because then I tried to leave the relationship and I left it for about a week or two. Maybe. And then I went back into the relationship and then I went out of it again and then I went into it again. And I kept going back and forth where I was having difficulty leaving the relationship. And I know a lot of us do this. I know it's not just me, but I know I especially was struggling with going back and forth and not being all in and not being all out. And you know who suffered because of that? Me and her. But mostly me, and I gotta take care of myself. And this brings us to the main reason why I believe toxic relationships are good for you. By the end of the video, I hope you agree with me as well. I decided to take some time to reflect upon myself, what the heck was going on and what was wrong. I started looking at my behaviors. I wasn't blaming anything on the other person. I was looking at my behaviors. I decided to look at why I was coming in and out of the relationship, why I wasn't making a commitment either way, and why I wasn't fully happy in this relationship. The conclusion that I came to after doing a lot of analysis within myself was that there were two different parts of me. One part of me was a part over here, a part of me that wants to be successful, that wants to accomplish my goals and my missions, that wants to be out and social and living my life to the fullest extent. And there's another part of me on the other side that craves connection with someone else so badly that I am willing to overstep on my own personal boundaries and my beliefs and the things that make me happy in order to just have a connection with someone. Once I came across to that realization, I realized that I was messing up. I was letting this part of me that was so desperate for connection take over the other part of me so violently that it was causing all of me to feel down and bad and honestly just pretty much sad about myself. Once I came to this realization, it made it so much easier to finally leave that relationship. And since realizing that, I have been so much happier of a person because I am no longer allowing one part of myself to completely overrun the other part of myself just because it wants connection. Now that also doesn't mean that I'm going to starve this part of myself that wants connection. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to work with both parts of myself. I'm going to allow the parts of me that want connection to be friendly and social and out with people and to make intimate connections with people while also listening to my boundaries, setting limits on what I'm willing and not willing to do, listening to my core, my truth, and my goals and my purpose. Because I have done that, it has completely changed my life all around. I am so much happier of a person. I am back on top of my goals. I'm making progress towards the things I want to make progress towards. Look at your life when it comes to relationships and what are you sacrificing in order to be in those relationships? Are you sacrificing any personal happiness? And why are you sacrificing that personal happiness? See, the reason toxic relationships can be really good for you is because they put you in a situation where you have to analyze yourself. Instead of just passing blame to the other person like most people want to do, you have to be willing to take responsibility for yourself and creating your life exactly how you want it to be. So instead of me blaming the girl for all the problems I was having internally because I was sad, I was blaming myself. I said, why am I allowing myself to be sad? And I came to a conclusion and I was able to create a solution to that. And then I was allowing myself to finally be happy. So now imagine what your life would be like if instead of blaming other people for your problems and if instead of being in a toxic relationship, what would it be like if you understood yourself? If you understood what parts of you are fighting between each other, why are you going maybe back and forth between a relationship? Why are you maybe stuck in a toxic relationship that you should leave? Is it because of the same reasons that I was? I would guess probably. Now, there might be other reasons. But I encourage you to not blame yourself either way, not to say one is right and one is wrong. I would actually encourage you to say both of the parts of you are correct. They both have different needs. How can you as a person come to a compromise within yourself that is going to allow yourself to be fully happy with the decisions you're making and with your life? Now, if you're in a toxic relationship and it's time to leave, it's going to be painful. I mean, even though I told you that I knew the two different parts of me that were fighting for each other and one part of me wanted connection so desperately I was willing to sacrifice my own personal boundaries, even when you make the intelligent and logical decision to leave, there still is an emotional part of yourself that's going to miss that other person. And it's important to realize when you're going through those moments of pain and hurt that it's just temporary and it's going to go away. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I did to help myself get over those emotions of pain when I was going through them that have helped me come out on the other side a lot better off than I was earlier. First things first, don't jump into another romantic or toxic relationship until you've had enough time to heal from the previous one. Second, allow yourself to do cool new things with your life. For example, that newness is very exciting. It's exciting to our brains, it's exciting to ourselves, and it can be really good for us when we're struggling deep down inside to bring some of that freshness and newness to life when we've just come to an end of a previous chapter of our life. Maybe switch up your hairstyle, buy different clothes, start going to the gym, whatever it is, start doing something new. Maybe go on a vacation, move to a new state. Who knows? It's up to you. Now that there's an emptiness and that person in your life isn't filling that same hole that it was earlier, Allow new people to come in and fill that hole. Now, that doesn't mean get into another relationship. I mean, start talking to more friends. If you're a dude, maybe make some more guy friends. If you're a girl, make some more girlfriends. Start going out a little bit more. I know we can't during the pandemic, but you get the point. Allow yourself to be sad, and don't tell yourself you're wrong for feeling sad. It's okay to feel sad. It makes sense. There's a part of you in all of us that wants to connect with other people and that wants to love other people. And when we strip that part of its desires and its needs, it's going to hurt a little bit, but it's okay. And tell yourself it's okay, because it is. So just give it some time to get over that. Next, start telling yourself how awesome you are, because you're pretty freaking sweet. And yeah, sometimes things come to an end, but tell yourself how awesome you are, because you really are, and keep living up to that. Now, don't go out and say mean things about the other person. Don't be an asshole. Don't be rude, because what you do to other people, you also do to yourself. I'm not going to turn around and call my ex-girlfriend or anything else, because that's just not mature and it's just not true. Also, I wouldn't want her to turn around and tell people that I'm an asshole, so I'm not going to do that to her. And even if she does, I really don't care. If there's any loose ends that you need to close off so you don't think about this person, for example, throw away stuff of theirs that you have, that maybe gifts they've given you that you don't want to keep, or little reminders of them that exist that just keep putting you in a sad mood and stuff, and you feel it'll be better for you and it'll help you gain more closure to just let it go, then do so. For example, sometimes what I'll do, I'll delete my messages with them. That way, if I open up my phone, I don't see their name all the time. Out of sight, out of mind. And finally, start living for the little moments day by day, up until you're good to go. And then plan for the future. Don't take too much time trying to plan everything out for 5 years and this and that when you're so sad in the moment that maybe you can't make the proper decisions. Just allow yourself to really be sad and do little things that'll make you happy. Maybe watch a comedy movie. Maybe go binge eat some ice cream if you're gonna feel good about doing it. Go work out, get the stress out of your body. Do little fun things that are gonna keep your spirits alive in those moments. And as time progresses forward, and as you gain clarity and you stop hurting, you'll get to a good point where you can make better decisions. Now, maybe you're one of those people that wants to stay friends with your ex-person. That's a tough one. There are situations where you can pull it off when both people are very mature and you are allowing yourselves to be separate, and maybe you support each other throughout the process of breaking up because you both understand that it is healthy for you to not be romantically engaged with each other. In those situations, sweet, you're dealing with a pretty mature person. Maybe you just both came to realize there's incompatibilities and you're allowing yourselves to let go without burning a friendship. Way to go. On the other hand, there are other relationships that are literally so toxic and so terrible for you that it might be in your best interest to just cut it off completely. And I'll tell you what, in my personal experience, the relationships that I've cut off completely have allowed me to heal a lot faster than the relationships I kind of went in, half out, and try to remain friends with. Now, it's okay to remain friends at times, but let's just be honest, majority of people are not capable of truly being friends. So it's up to you and your judgment call and feeling your core on whether or not it is going to be okay for you to remain friends with this person after you have ended your relationship with them. I've known many people throughout my lifetime that try to remain friends with the other person and they just end up dating again, and then they fall into the exact same pattern that I fell into plenty of times. I've also known many people that just cut it off and never talk again. And they don't mean it in a rude way or a harsh way. It's just done. So at the end of the day, I hope you've come to realize along with me why toxic relationships are actually good for you. They're good for you because they present you with an opportunity to come to know yourself more. They give you the opportunity to analyze yourself and to study yourself and to see what parts of you need what things. What is it about yourself that allowed yourself to either be in that toxic relationship, and what learning lesson is there? Being able to face myself and look at myself objectively and allowed me to realize what parts of myself I was violating, what boundaries I was making myself suffer with, and how to compromise them so I could be truly happy. And I know that if you take a little bit of time to do the same thing, you're gonna be in the same boat, you're gonna be real happy, and you're gonna live your freaking greatest life. So I encourage you, if you're in this situation, or maybe in the past you have been, take some time to analyze yourself and look at what was going on so that later in the future, you can be so happy knowing that you've listened to your desires, followed your truth, and allowed yourself to be the happiest version of yourself. Because on the other side of that journey, there's a whole lot of goodness waiting for you. That does it for this video, why toxic relationships are good for you. Make sure you hit the subscription button, subscribe to the channel, and go get your free Legend wristband from the Shop Legend merch store. The link is in the description down below. I'm sending these out for free for a limited period of time until they're over. If they're gone, you'll see on the website. So get them before they run out. I'll see you on the next one.